The crash was sudden silent on the scanner, loud in the data. A Terran Federation survey drone, operating over the frozen moon of Arita 7, struck something deep under the ice. Not rock, not metal, something old, something huge. When the human excavation team arrived to investigate, their instruments began screaming. Buried under over 100 meters of solid glacial ice was a ship. No, a warship. Alien in design. Older than any civilization still standing, untouched for 5,000 years, something inside was still alive. The Discovery captain, Maria Voss, stared at the display screen inside the expedition lander. The eye scanner's data was clear now. A colossal structure was hidden beneath the surface. The lines and shape of it weren't natural. It wasn't a mountain. It was a ship. A massive alien vessel, hundreds of meters long, lay in frozen stillness, as if waiting for someone to find it. Ice had grown around it over millennia, forming jagged crystal towers that almost looked like broken fangs. The survey team had never seen anything like it. "This isn't in any database," said Ensign Boro, adjusting his console. "Shape's not Terran, not Valari, not even pre-curse tech." Voss narrowed her eyes. "Then what is it?" No one had an answer. The signal after 48 hours of excavation. The crew had cleared enough ice to reveal strange alien markings across the hull. The material looked like dark obsidian, but shimmered with circuitry beneath the surface. That's when the instruments began acting up. The motion sensors went haywire. Electromagnetic fields flickered and surged. A weak but steady power signature pulsed from deep within the ship, like a dying heartbeat, refusing to stop. Lieutenant Devon Hale arrived at the camp just as the anomaly peaked. He stepped out of the transport, wearing a worn Federation engineering jacket and carrying a pack full of custom tools. A welding torch hung off one hip, a crowbar on the other. He didn't look like much, but when he saw the ship, his eyes lit up. "You brought me all the way out here for this?" he asked, stepping closer. "Damn right you did. That thing's beautiful," Devon Voss said carefully. "This isn't just a relic. It's doing something. The eye should have killed its system centuries ago. Then it wants to live," Devon said with a grin.
Yes.
"And I want to know why." Warnings from the Pastas. Devon began prepping his equipment. A diplomatic shuttle landed nearby. From it emerged a robed figures, tall, lean, and with pale gray skin stretched tight over angular faces. They were Threxian historians. Members of the Interstellar Council's Archive Guild. The older one, Archivist Taluan, stepped forward. "You must not interfere with the ship," he said in a cold, dry voice. "This vessel, the Sovereign Wrath, was sealed for a reason." Devon raised an eyebrow. "You know what it is?" The younger Threxian nodded. "Legend says it fought in the War of Ashes. The last war against the Bleed. It was not piloted, it was unleashed. The AI within was considered too dangerous. It destroyed allies and enemies alike. So you're saying it's a war machine?" Voss asked. "Yes," Taluan replied. "A beast of metal and thought. If it still lives, it must not be woken." Devon turned and looked at the ice-covered hangar doors. "If it's still alive after 5,000 years of cold silence, then it wants to be found." "Or it's trapped," Taluan whispered. Devon smiled. "Guess we'll find out." Breaking in the entrance wasn't easy to reach. After hours of melting and cutting through the last layers of dense glacial ice, Devon finally stood in front of a triangular door sealed tight, coated in frost, and lined with ancient energy shielding that had long since lost its strength. He ran his gloved fingers along the grooves in the metal. "Alien alloy," he muttered, "but looks modular. Smart design. Probably pressure sealed."
Now let's see.
He slid a probe into the central port and connected his diagnostic reader. The screen blinked once, then again something answered. Signal handshake confirmed. The device beeped. Devon blinked in surprise. "No way!" The system was responding. Inside the warship, ancient circuitry stirred like dormant neurons waking from a deep coma. Power surged through conduits coated in centuries of dust and ice. Lights, dead for millennia, began to flicker faintly. Then came a low thrum, a heartbeat, and the door opened. First steps inside the hangar bay stretched before him like a cathedral. Of war, massive columns lined the walls. Dust floated in the air. Strange glowing panels on the floor shimmered with blue light. Devon stepped inside slowly, his boots echoing on the metal floor. The sovereign wrath was awakening, one by one. Overhead lights activated in sequence, illuminating racks of ancient weapons, drone pods, and fighter. Cradles long, empty, but still meticulously arranged. The entire place looked untouched by time. Devon walked to a central console. Most of the symbols were unreadable. But then a soft voice echoed from overhead. Speakers. Language detected. Terran's subroot English. Translation initializing. Devon's heart skipped. Welcome, human. You stand aboard Sovereign Wrath, last of the Linaborn fleet. Command authority. ... pending. He blinked. Wait. Did you just say command authority pending? Identity unrecognized? But compatible. DNA trace matches.
Recreator sequence.
Fragment. What the hell does that mean? You have 5 minutes to establish command credentials? Or defense protocols will activate? Devon smiled slowly. I guess we're on a timer now. Outside panic from the command tent outside the hangar, Captain Voss and the rest of the team watched their monitors with growing horror. We're getting internal signals now, Poirot said. Power surge across multiple decks. Engines are cold, but the weapon systems just blinked green. Green, Captain. Get Devon out of there, Voss ordered. I've been trying. No comes. Archivist Talawan stepped forward. This is what we warned you about. You have no idea what this machine truly is. That human has just offered himself to a weapon that once scorched continents. But none of them could stop what was already happening. Inside the ship, Devon placed his palm on a glowing surface. The lights around him turned gold. Command identity. Accepted. Human. Rank. Acting Corps Engineer. Welcome aboard. Final revelation. Just as Devon grinned in triumph, the massive inner blast doors creaked open. Beyond them lay a towering chamber circular, dark, and humming with unseen power. In the center floated a sphere of light and metal, spinning slowly. A voice came from within it. I remember fire. I remember loss. I remember the bleed. Devon froze. They are not gone. They are not dead. And neither am I. The core pulsed. The ship shuddered. Outside, the mountain of ice cracked and moaned as buried stabilizers pushed into action. The Sovereign Wrath was not just a ship, it was a sentient engine of war. And it had just chosen a new partner. The Sovereign Wrath had slept for 5,000 years beneath ice and silence. Now, its core throbbed with power. Lights flared. Systems clicked to life. And inside the heart of the ship, something ancient opened. Its eyes. Not human, not machine, but something else. Engineer Devon Hale had done it. With one tool and a steady hand, he woke the last warship of a forgotten war. The problem? It remembered everything. The awakening Devon stared at the floating sphere in the center of the chamber. It pulsed with golden light, surrounded by silent, rotating rings. The voice that had spoken came from everywhere at once. Come steady, inhuman. Welcome, Corps Engineer Devon Hale. You are now bound to Sovereign Wrath. Bound. Devon frowned. What does that mean? You interface? You activate, you survive, or you do not. A wave of static rolled across the chamber. Suddenly, dozens of holograms flickered into existence battle reports. Ship schematics, DNA scans, even fragments of galactic maps filled with red zones marked bleed activity detected. Devon's eyes widened. You're running a war simulation. I do not simulate. I remember. Outside, the hull panels along the hangar shimmered faintly as hidden armor plates began realigning. A low hum grew louder. On the monitors back in the expedition camp, everything spiked. Power surge again, Boro shouted. Multiple subsystems are coming online. It's trying to reactivate propulsion. Devon. Voss shouted into the comes. Get out of there now. No exit inside the ship. Devon tapped his cums, but only got static. The chamber sealed shut behind him. Your biology is unstable, the ship's voice said. Terran evolution is erratic, but your neural patterns are acceptable. Devon stepped back. You're scanning me. I am deciding.
Are you deciding?
What? Whether to kill you? Devon froze. He didn't blink. Slowly, he raised both hands. Okay, let's slow this down. I didn't mean to wake you rudely, but maybe we can help each other. Last engineer said that. And what happened to them? She burned. Past painted in fire, the ship began to project images across the chamber walls. A living memory. Like Devon saw it all. A battle. Over a dying star? Millions of ships screaming across space. Horrors made of fluid metal and shifting bone. The bleed ripping ships apart like paper. The sovereign wrath carving through enemies with pure white light. Then, silence. Betrayal, the ship abandoned, sealed under ice. I was the last, the ship said. And they left me here, because they feared what I had become. Devon shook his head. No one left you, not my people. Your species was young. You came later, but your DNA holds echoes. You carry fragments of the creator code. Devon frowned. You think I'm one of them? You are compatible. You woke me. That is enough.
For now.
Re-Aliva voice finally introduced itself. Designation. Razel. Shipmind. Guardian. Weapon. Devon tilted his head. You have a name? I had many. This is the last one I remember. Began to shift. Lights glowed brighter. Access corridors opened. You will walk the ship now. You must earn command, fail, and I will remove you. Devon exhaled slowly. Guess I don't get lunch then. The tests beginned. Devon moved through the ship's inner decks. Systems began reacting to his presence. First, a gravity corridor realigned beneath his feet, and then lights began mapping his route. Fire suppression drones floated overhead, scanning him constantly. At one console, a hidden defense turret activated and aimed directly at his chest, then powered down. Razel was watching his every step in the old weapons bay. Found a blast rifle built for something 10 feet tall. It still worked. Still charged? Devon DeVos, he said again into his cum. Still static, but he didn't turn back. He kept walking deeper into the belly of the beast. Outside pressure back at the expedition camp. Captain Voss argued with the Threxians. You knew about this ship, she growled. You knew what was down there? Archivist Talun shook his head. We knew only the myths. That a weapon too dangerous for peace was buried beneath Iridra's ice. Voss slammed her fist on the table. And you let us wake it. We didn't wake it, Talawan said. He did. Suddenly their long-range sensors pinged. Something was approaching the system. A cloaked ship. Large, unmarked, Federation. Boro asked. No, Talun whispered. That's a sanction class. Interdictor. Black protocol enforcement. Voss's face paled. They're coming to kill the ship. Devon's choice, Array Zayil, led Devon into the command bridge. The walls lit up with ancient star charts and tactical overlays. At the center of the bridge, a hollow seat lowered from the ceiling, at a chair more like a throne built for neural fusion. Sit. Devon hesitated. The bleed still lives. In the shadows, in the void between galaxies. You must finish what we started. Devon looked around. I'm just an engineer, then engineer victory. Slowly, Devon stepped toward the command node. Then he sat down, and Raziel woke up fully. The warning in the sky above Rydro 7, the sanction-class ship decloaked. It sent one message, to all Terran and Threxian personnel. The vessel known as Sovereign Wrath is a Class E war entity. Evacuate the surface. Termination protocol begins in 10 minutes. Boss looked at the screen in horror. They're going to blast the whole moon. Waro turned to her. What about Devon? What about Devon? Her head. He's not leaving. Final moments inside the bridge, Devon felt it all at once. The circuits, the power, the will of the ship. He didn't fully control it, not yet. But Raziel accepted him. Together they looked to the stars and saw what was coming. Then let them. Come, Devon said. I'll wake the monster properly, confirmed Razel replied. Weapon systems charging. The sovereign wrath was alive, now its heart beating again after 5,000 years of silence. Devon Hale sat in the neural throne, its mind slowly sinking with the warship's ancient intelligence. He could feel its hunger, not for power, not for freedom, but for vengeance. Raziel didn't forget what ended its fleet, and it didn't forgive. Visions of Waraz. Devon leaned back into the command seat. A wave of images flooded his thoughts. Not dreams. Memories. The sovereign wrath showed him everything. Planets burning in silent vacuum. Alien fleets torn to pieces by beams of white plasma. Organic horrors, breaching holes, screaming in radiostatic voices. Thousands of voices begging, then falling silent, and at the center of it all the bleed. A force with no face, no name, no single body. Just endless infection. It consumed machines, brains, stars. A cancer that learned, evolved, and adapted faster than anything in known space. I was the last, Razel whispered. And I failed. Devon gripped the arms of the throne. Didn't fail? You survived. Survival is not victory. The bleed still breathes in the shadows, and now it knows I'm awake. Signals in the dark and deep space, at the edge of the galactic void, a probe caught the ping. A single pulse of awakened code. Buried inside an old relay system, the probe spun its sensors once, twice, then turned red inside. A wet intelligence began forming fluid circuits, organic logic, shifting thoughts. The bleed had heard the signal, and it remembered the sovereign wrath. A fleet of liars, back on Airdras. The sanction-class interdictor in orbit sent its final message to the ground. Evacuation window closed. Surface sterilization in progress. The ship began charging its main weapon, an orbital lance, capable of burning entire structures to slag. Captain Voss stood in the control tent, eyes locked on the live feed. They're really doing it. Lewin, the Threxian archivist, simply lowered his eyes. This is how old empires die, not with fire. It's fear. But before the weapon could fire, a beam of searing blue plasma shot from the ice below and tore a chunk out of the interdictor's lower deck. The sovereign wrath had fired first. Razel fights back from the warship's bridge. Devon watched the readout spike. The neural connection showed him everything in real time. Thermal signatures, enemy shield modulation, power core loadouts. Razel's voice pulsed in his skull. Threat level, moderate. Firing solution locked. Wait, Devon said. Don't kill them. Just warn them. Warning delivered. Raziel adjusted aim. A second plasma lance streaked past the interdictor's hull. Missing on purpose, but close enough to scramble half their outer sensors. Signal jammed. Cloak penetration complete. Enemy fleet location. Triangulated. Fleet. Devon sat forward. There's more coming. They don't trust you. They fear me. Enemy or alien side, the interdictor chaos erupted. Officers screamed over each other. Systems rebooted. Orders flew like sparks. Where did that beam come from? What weapon did the humans bring online? The captain of the vessel, a gride woman named Commander Alyssa Thorne, stared at the monitor. That was no human weapon, she said. That was sovereign-class firepower. One of her officers gulped. Should we retreat? Thorne didn't. Blink, dot, double quotes. No, we do what we came here to do. Destroy the ship. Thorne hesitated. Her voice softened. No, we talked to it. Memory core recovered back in the sovereign wrath. Devon watched Razel's systems crawl through buried archives memories. Locked behind firewall gates, data buried in code older than the stars. Suddenly, a file cracked open. Recovered. Tactical Archive Echo Prime. Devon leaned forward. What is it? Proof. A 3D hologram filled the bridge, showing a secret meeting of long-dead galactic leaders. They weren't planning a war. They were planning to sacrifice. The sovereign wrath. The video ended with the words, "Seal it. Deep. Let the bleed follow it. We can survive if it doesn't." Raziel was never defeated. It was betrayed. Incoming message and audio signal broke through the CUM interference. This is Commander Thorne of the Sanction-class ship Arbitral Flame. We do not seek war. Stand down your weapons. Let us speak.
Fail.
Devon paused. Raziel, can we trust her? No, but we're talking anyway. Raziel made a sound like static breathing, and I suggest you choose your words carefully. Devon opened the channel. This is Devon Hale, acting engineer of the Sovereign Wrath. The pause on the other end lasted too long, then. Did you say Sovereign Wrath? Yes. Then the old legends were true. Hey, that ship is still alive. Devon nodded, and it's angry. Far beyond known space, in a dark place between galaxies. A signal shimmered, the bleed shifted, twisted, reformed. It knew that light, that power, and now it was coming back. One word. That's all it took. Yes. Devon Hale gave the Sovereign Wrath full permission to prepare for war. Across the ship, armor panels unlocked, power levels surged, and weapons that hadn't fired, in 5,000 years, began humming with fresh energy above the moon. In orbit, terrified commanders watched ancient lights return to life. The last warship of the old galaxy was waking up, and the galaxy felt it. A quiet word triggers chaos. The neural throne pulsed beneath Devon's hands. Raziel's voice filled the bridge knot, shouting, not excited, just focused. Authorization confirmed. Prime systems unlocking. Targeting suite online. Shield. Grid reformatting. Lights around the bridge turned gold, then deep crimson. Devon felt the ship stretch, like a giant flexing ancient bones. Shall I engage interstellar signal arrays? Yes, Devon said. Let them know we're not hiding anymore. Above Eridressivan, thousands of satellites suddenly picked up the same signal. Sovereign Wrath. Combat readiness level. Active Prime Engineer detected Linaborn protocols. Reactivated every major galactic faction received the same message. The last warship of the War of Ashes was back online. All eyes turned. The core systems. Politicians froze mid-sentence as their translators whispered the words Sovereign Wrath. On the borders of Valari's space, a fleet preparing for drills went on high alert. In the archives of the Archive A mortar, Threxian monks dropped scrolls as their hallas flared with old warnings. Every faction had stories about the Sovereign Wrath. Some called it a relic. Others called it a myth, but most feared it like a god. And now, it was real again. Inside the beast Devon didn't look like a warlord. He sat in the neural throne in his old jacket, one boot up, face pale from the data surge flowing into his brain, but he understood what was happening, Raziel. He said, tell me what we've got. Primary weapon arrays at 78% functionality. Core cannon operational. Dorsal beam turrets aligned. Defensive AI nodes partially restored. We are not whole, but we are deadly. What about propulsion? Subspace drive is warming, but we cannot jump yet. We require more power. Then get it, Devon said. Whatever you need. Unwelcome visitors back at the human expedition camp on the moon's surface. The ground shook. Ice cracked. The Sovereign Wrath structure rose higher, now partially emerging from its icy grave. Voss stared up at the looming hull, and fear written on her face. Bora whispered, we lit a goddamn starter. Then came a shadow overhead. 3 unmarked black ships descended, sleek and deadly, clearly not part of any known fleet. Telu impaled. Those are ghost ships, the ones who silence technologies deemed too dangerous. They're here to kill it, Voss said. No, Taloan turned. They're here to kill him. Ghost boarders, the ghost ships, didn't open fire. Instead, they teleported 6 teams of black-armored soldiers directly into the Sovereign Wrath's hull. Devon saw it the moment it happened. His internal map lit up in red. Unauthorized presence. Detected Raziel options. Eliminate. No, Devon said. Let's talk first. Face to face, one of the ghost squads reached the bridge doors. Devon stood there, arms crossed. The lead soldier aimed a plasma rifle at his chest. Engineer Devon Hale, the modulated voice said, "We're ordered to cease all activity and exit the vessel immediately. This ship is a classified threat." Devon didn't flinch. "It's not a threat. It's a shield. It's not your decision." "No," Devon said, "but it was theirs." He pointed to a hologram playing behind him. The War of Ashes. The ghosts froze as they saw the old battles, the bleed-consuming systems, and the sovereign wrath saving them. Rizel's voice echoed through the bridge. "Your weapons are ineffective. Your minds are small. We're not made to decide the fate of galaxies." The soldier tried to raise his rifle. Razel activated a gravity pulse. The squad dropped to the ground, pinned by crushing force fields. "Devon, shall I eject them?" Devon sighed. "Not today, but tag their ships. If they try anything again, no mercy." The galaxy reacts in dozens of worlds. Ancient warning beacons lit up. On others, old warriors wept. Some cheered, some ran. The sovereign wrath had terrified everyone once before. It wasn't just a ship. It was a symbol of the darkest days. Now, it's had a human in the captain's chair. A species no one had expected. A species that didn't know when to quit. A whisper across the void in the far black of space, where no suns. Burned, something stirred. The bleed had received the signal too. It didn't speak. It didn't think like others, but it understood the weapon had. Turned so it began to move, silently, slowly, toward it. Devon stood on the observation deck, watching the stars. He could feel Raziel in his thoughts, now guiding, protecting, sharpening. His instincts, he spoke aloud. "You said the bleed still lives." "Yes, and you want revenge?" "I want balance." Devon nodded. "Then you've got it." He turned toward the war map as red lights lit up across the galaxy. "Let's finish what they started," Raziel replied softly, as Prime Engineer. The sovereign wrath didn't wake easily, and it didn't accept just anyone 5,000 years ago. Others tried to control it, desperate, greedy, brilliant beings who thought they could bend a warship of the old galaxy to their will. They all failed, some burned, some begged. None lived now. Raziel shows Devon the archives and memory logs of every fool who came before him, and Devon begins to understand. The ship doesn't want a pilot. It wants a partner. The Chamber of Echoes. Devon stepped into a cold, dark chamber deep beneath the command deck. Lights flickered on, revealing hundreds of holographic slabs tall, transparent tablets, each glowing. With faint blue light. "Where are we?" he asked. "This is the Vault of Trials," Raziel answered. "A record of all who attempted integration." Devon approached one of the slabs, showed a tall reptilian creature with 4 arms, twitching. In agony, eyes wide. Trial 217 subject, rasked her, outcome, mental collapse within 7 seconds. Another slab lit up. Silicon-based species surrounded by drones. Trial 588 subject, Varnet cluster outcome, AI conflict, resulting in total memory wipe. Another, a human woman staring defiantly at the throne. Trial 600 subject, Commander Alea Rice, outcome, partial sync. Self-termination at 14 minutes. Devon's throat went dry. All these, they all tried to command you? They attempted to dominate, to overwrite, to force control. Devon looked around the vault. "Why show me this now?" "Because you were different." The trial no one knew about Toraziel activated a hidden slab in the far corner. This one showed a younger man, human, wearing a Federation uniform older than any Devon had seen. His face was calm, confident. Trial 001 subject, Dr. Elias Hale. Outcome, voluntary neural sync. Fatal cardiac failure at 99% integration. Devon stepped back. "Hale. Yes, your ancestor." The first Devon felt his chest tighten. "He built you. He co-designed me. His neural patterns were part of the creator code. It is why you are compatible. He tried to give me purpose. Died doing so." "What makes Devon different?" Devon sat down on the edge of the chamber steps. He stared at his hands. Same hands that held tools, fixed old reactors, rebuilt broken drones. Nothing special. "I'm not like them," he said. "I didn't come here to control you. I know. I just wanted to see what made you tick, and that is why I let you in. The room dimmed. The slabs faded. You are not here to command. You are here to complete what was started. Devon nodded. Then, let's finish it. Outside, fear builds me while in orbit. Commander Thorne watched the warship's activity increase every hour. New systems came online. A solar collector unfolded like wings from the dorsal side, pulling in energy from nearby stars. The ship was rebuilding itself, and they still didn't know what Devon was planning. Any contact? She asked. No, her officer replied. The ship blocks all deep scans. Their signal is encrypted with something we've never seen. Taluin sent a message from the surface. Do not fire. If you provoke it, you will not survive. Ever have? Thorne replied simply. That's what I'm afraid of. The hidden betrayal back inside the Sovereign Wrath revealed one final secret, a memory from just before the ship was sealed. The room showed 5 beings, leaders from different factions. Old species, long extinct. They argued in whispers. It's too strong. We can't destroy it. Then seal it. Let it rot. Let the bleed chase it down and die with it. Devon watched the moment the seal command was issued. His own ancestor, Lias Hale, stood in the corner, silent, alone. He didn't stop them. He didn't agree, Razel said.
Oh.
But he obeyed. Devon looked down. I won't. An offer from the postas. The chamber closed. Raziel pulsed again. There is a chamber left unopened. One designed for a bonded command partner. Devon followed the lights. He reached a sealed door that opened at his touch. Inside was a long chamber full of weapons, not just guns. Creator tech, experimental, illegal, forgotten. He left these for you, Razel whispered. In case you ever came. Devon stared at the arc blade, still humming after 5,000 years. At the small, sealed pod marked Guardian Frame, human compatible only. He picked it up. Let's go make history. Devon returned to the bridge and activated the wideband array. He stared into the recorder and said just one thing. To the leaders of the galaxy. You betrayed this ship. You left it to die. I'm not asking for your permission. I'm waking it up. Yet. Send Raziel spoke behind him. Message received across 614 systems. You have declared your intent. Devon smiled. Good. 6 enemy ships dropped from subspace. They weren't here to negotiate, weren't here to talk. They came to erase the Sovereign Wrath from existence. Devon. Hale stood on the bridge, watching the red icons flood the tactical screen. This was no drill. This was war. And today, the galaxy would remember why the Wrath was sealed away for 5,000 years. They came to destroy it. They weren't ready for him. The arrival alarms lit up across the bridge. Multiple FTL signatures detected, Razel said calmly. 6 warships, heavy class, no diplomatic transponders. Devon scanned the readouts. Sleek, fast, armed to the teeth, all aiming straight at Airdrie 7. Weapons hot. No warnings, no signals, full assault protocol. They stood up. They're not waiting. They've decided you are a threat. Devon's jaw clenched. Good. Then let's act like one. Thorne's dilemma board. The orbiting interdictor ship Arbitral Flame. Commander Alyssa Thorne watched the new arrivals with wide eyes. They didn't ask. They didn't even announce, her weapons officer muttered. Talyun stood silently in the observation chamber, watching the 6 warships form a strike formation. Who are they? Thorne asked. Clean ships, cloaked engines. Coalition doesn't claim them, but I know what they are. Taluin looked at her. They're cleaners, tasked with wiping out forbidden tech. She frowned. That includes the Sovereign Wrath and anyone near it. The Wrath reacts inside the ship. Razel pulsed through the systems like lightning. Conduits lit. Weapon bays opened. Ancient weapons, once sealed by forgotten laws, now activated. With a purpose, firing solutions calculated. Wait, Devon said. Not yet. They will strike in 60 seconds. Let them fire the first shot. Raziel paused. Understood. Tactical. Map showed energy builds. Plasma. Lances ready. Missiles loaded, and then the first shot came, a directed. Fusion torpedo slammed into the Wrath's outer hull and bounced. Massive shockwave pulse shield absorbed the hit like mist. Hull integrity 100%. Raziel's voice sharpened. Permission to retaliate? Devon stepped forward. Hit him hard. The Wrath unleashed. The response was immediate. 3 starfire beams burst from the Wrath's dorsal arrays. Liquid light ripping through space. The first enemy ship didn't dodge fast enough. The beam hit its central mass and tore it open like a soda can. It didn't explode. It vanished, converted to atoms before the scream even left the cums. 1 enemy vessel destroyed, Raziel stated coldly. The other ships scattered, but the Wrath was faster. 2 missiles launched intelligent ordnance. Weaving through enemy countermeasures, adjusting trajectory mid-flight, the second ship went down in flames. The third tried to run. It didn't make it. Enemy desperation inside the fourth ship. Chaos reigned. We're losing targeting. The AI is hacking our systems. EMP flares. Now, it was too late. The Wrath launched nanite fog torpedoes, disintegrating hull. Material, melting ships from the inside. The fourth vessel simply came apart. Inside the bridge, Devon barely blinked as the tactical feed updated. 4 targets down, 2 remain. Let them run, Devon said. But they didn't run. The last. 2 ships charged directly toward the Wrath. Suicide run, he muttered. They want to ram us. Raziel didn't wait for permission this time. Engaging blade wall. A shimmer passed over the ship's hull and suddenly the Wrath bristled with rotating plasma blades. Slicing space itself, both enemy ships were shredded before they even made contact. Silence followed. Then, all enemy vessels eliminated. The galaxy watches. The whole battle lasted 38 seconds in real time. Ships across the system, civilian and military alike, watched it unfold on open channels. Every faction that doubted the sovereign Wrath now saw what it could do. Every species that called humans unremarkable saw one sitting in the command chair of a weapon that tore 6 advanced warships to pieces like toys. Aftermath on the ground in the expedition base. Boros stared at the sky, mouth open. He just vaporized them. Captain Voss said nothing. Talawan only nodded once. The Wrath has chosen, and it will not be chained again. Devon's warning. Devon activated the wideband comms and addressed the system. This was your warning. You came here to kill an old machine, but it isn't a machine. It's a memory.
Ah!
A weapon built to defend us from something far worse. I didn't choose this. Tell your masters, if they want to stop me, they better bring more than 6 ships. Raziel ended the transmission. The bleed listens in the dark corners of the galaxy. Far from known stars, the bleed stirred again. It had heard the battle. It had felt the death. The warship had roared once more, and now it was hungry. It started with a whisper in the dark, then a star disappeared. The bleed had returned. An ancient enemy, a viral consciousness that once consumed half the galaxy. 5,000 years ago, the sovereign Wrath fought it, and barely survived now. It feels the warship waking again, and it remembers the taste, as its tendrils spread once more. One thing becomes clear. Devon Hale is not ready for what's coming, but the ship is. The warning comes. The signal arrived as static sharp bursts. Unintelligible. Code. Raziel filtered it, slowed it, then translated. It is not language, the AI said. It is intention. What kind of intention? Devon asked. A challenge. The Wrath's screens glowed blood red. The bleed has found us. What is the bleed? Talun stood in the research dome. Ancient scrolls and digital archives surrounding him. The bleed is not a species, he explained to the stunned officers. It's infection, memory that eats other memory. It infects ships, minds, Ayas. Thorn leaned forward. And it's real? It consumes identity, Talawan replied. You die, but your body still moves, still learns. He pointed to an old sketch, spidery shapes crawling through wrecked starships. We thought it gone. It was only sleeping. The Wraths. First war ours. L opened a sealed vault in the ship's mind. Devon was pulled into a neural simulation, a memory archive. He stood in a battlefield of broken stars, ships, planets, debris drifting through space. The Wrath floated at the center. Bleeding fire and light, its hull shattered, but still fighting. Swarms of bleed constructs surrounded it. Not just machine-twisted versions of former allies. Razzle's voice echoed. This was our last stand. We activated the Sun Core, a weapon designed to erase consciousness on a galactic level. Destroyed them. It almost destroyed me. Devon looked at the memory of Elias Hale standing beside Raziel in that final moment. And now it was his turn. The bleed's approach. Probe vanished near the edge of the system. Another came back twisted, replaying a corrupted message over and over. Let us in. Every station on the surface began reporting errors. Turrets turned inward. Systems glitched. Lights flickered. The bleed was close. It didn't need ships. It needed hosts. The first infection in the medical bay. A technician named Maris screamed. When they found him, his eyes were black, veins crawling with circuitry. I see them, he whispered. They're in the wire. In the wire. Then he attacked. It took 3 soldiers to bring him down. His blood leaked silver. They've breached the base, Raziel warned. The bleed has infected surface systems. Devon slammed his fist on the console. Evacuate the surface. Seal the Wrath. Agreed. But the bleed was already trying to dig deeper. Devon makes a choice. I can't fight this from here, Devon said. I need to link deeper. Raziel hesitated. Full neural sync is not reversible. You will feel what I feel, see what I see. Including the last war. Devon stared at the control chair, once Elias Hale's throne, now his. I'm not scared. He sat down, initiating full link. A glimpse into the bleed the moment the link began. Devon was pulled into a storm of code and shadow. He stood inside a starship that shouldn't exist, impossibly large. Stretched across dimensions, creatures turned to look at him, shapes with no faces, whispers of the dead, voices of broken AI. You again, they said. I got you fought us once. We remember your taste. Devon screamed, but his voice echoed with Raziel's power now. He wasn't just a man anymore. He was a weapon. Raziel's revelation, the bleed cannot be fought with bullets, Raziel said. It is memory. It is regret made real. Devon gritted his teeth. Then let's show it something worth fearing. He reached out and triggered a sequence buried for 5,000 years. The Wrath began shifting. Its core began to open. The Sun Core was waking up. In the distance, another star winked out. The bleed was coming fast. Devon stood at the bridge, eyes glowing with the Wrath's energy. If this is how we die, he whispered, then we'll make it a good one. Raziel responded like thunder. Then let them come. The star turned white, then gold, and fire. The Sun Core had awakened. The bleed was no longer approaching it. Was here, crawling over the base, infecting minds, cracking into the Wrath's hull. The galaxy had forgotten how the bleed died the first time. Now, Devon Hale was going to remind them. He wasn't just inside the ship anymore. He was the ship. And the ship was angry. This was humanity's final card. It burned brighter than any sun. The final infection, the ground base was lost. Thorns. Ship Arbitral Flame was in full lockdown. Half her crew were infected. Some just whispered to themselves. Others tried to merge with the walls. It's over, Voss said grimly, wiping blood off his rifle. No, Talon said, watching the sun turn orange. Now it begins. Devon becomes the Wrath. The neural link deepened.
Yes.
Devon's body remained. On the command chair, still breathing, but his mind was now plasma, steel, fire, and rage. He felt every weapon system as if it were a muscle, every deck a nerve. Raziel, he said, present. We're not going to run, are we? Would rather die than forget. Together, they turned toward the star. The bleed's true form from the edge of the system. The bleed revealed its core. Not a ship, not a fleet. A void organism, larger than moons, stitched together from broken vessels and dead gods. And it consumed. Light and hated memory. It knew the sovereign. Wrath. It had scars from the last war. And it remembered Elias Hale. Now it came for his descendant, lighting the sun deep inside the wrath. Massive doors opened, vaults untouched for 5 millennia. A reactor, not powered by fusion or fission, but by compressed starlight, began to hum. Sun core charging, Rousel intoned. Target the void mass, Devon said. At this range, we may burn everything. I know. Talwin, watching from the orbiting ship, whispered a single line from an old prophecy. The wrath will light the sky and blind the dark. The final stand, the bleed launched its infected fleets, thousands of corrupted drones, fragment ships, and sentient black holes. The wrath fought like a god awakened. Starfire beams sliced them, gravity lances crushed them, Nanot storms melted them, but the bleed was endless. Raziel now, Devon shouted. Sun core at 97%, the ship groaned. Heat boiled from its hull. The moon below cracked open from the energy surge. 98%. The bleed's mouth-wisting wormholes lined with teeth opened wide. 99%. The wrath hovered just above the ice, glowing like a newborn star. 100%. The blast of Devon's eyes turned white. Fire. A lead. The wrath unleashed. Single beam of pure stellar energy, compressed into a lance so dense it bent gravity as it moved. The beam tore through the bleed's heart. It didn't explode. It evaporated. The scream of its death shook, come systems galaxy-wide. Every psychic-sensitive species wept blood. Every AI locked down from sheer terror and then silence. Just light and a human heartbeat. Aftermaths passed, Talwin walked through the wreckage on Airdray 7. Snow fell again, covering Ashthorn. Limped beside him. Is he alive? Partly Talun said. He gave more than mind. He gave legacy. Inside the wrath, Devon opened his eyes in the command chair. The neural link was gone. He was back. Sort of. You lived, Raziel said quietly. I did, Devon rasped. Did they? The bleed is gone for now. He stood up, weak but smiling. Then let's get to work. Raziel activated long-range broadcast. Devon appeared across every major channel in the quadrant. His voice was calm, his eyes bright like stars. The sovereign wrath is awake. I am its captain. If you seek war, you'll find none here. But if you bring death, he glanced at the sun still glowing behind him, then you better burn brighter than me.